Just a few diet tips and tricks here. I won't read these word for word, just read through those. A lot of those could probably help you. Frequently asked questions. Obviously, I will answer any questions that you have. These are the most common ones. So just make sure that you read through those and you could probably get quite a few of your questions answered there. We talked about logging your food earlier and keeping a food log. This is just an example. Don't take anything specific on here to heart, like 3 multivitamins at the top, whatever. This was just an old food log that somebody sent me quite a while ago, so this doesn't even have the right amounts or anything on it. You notice they took some notes at the bottom of how they feel. All that stuff will help you. Just make sure you keep a food log. The second biggest component of fat loss that we have control over is physical activity. And it's not all that complicated as far as what you need to do. We'll take care of your workouts and what actual exercises you need to do and that kind of thing. If you'll show up to 90% of the sessions that you're supposed to show up to, and you're 90% of your diet, we're going to see some awesome results. So show up 90% of the time. We have people that show up 100% of the time. And the people that show up the most often are the people that have the best results without fail. So I don't think that's by accident. So make sure that you get 90% of the training sessions in. On a side note there, a lot of people want to add in some cardio when they first start. As far as long, slow cardio goes, it's completely overrated as far as fat in regards to fat loss. So especially when people first start, they're excited, they want to lose weight, they want to get fit, and so they think cardio is the key. But long, slow cardio, like I said, is overrated in the fat loss process. If you just love to run or you're training for a 5K or something like that, obviously you're going to need to run. But if you don't love it and you're not training for anything, I would not add any cardio in to begin with. And if we need to add something in down the line, we can do that. We can communicate and do that. It most likely will not be long, slow cardio, however. So just a little side note there. The next piece of the fat loss puzzle that often gets overlooked is rest, recovery, and regeneration. And at this point, really all I want you to know about it is that it is important. As we train, and on Saturday morning I'll go through some of it, but as we train, it's important to use some recovery methods, some regeneration methods, and to get good rest when you're not training. So like I said, I'll go further into the methods and what they are and why they work. And a lot of our people have grown to really like some of the methods and how they make their body feel, because it helps to recover your body from the workouts, and people feel quite a bit better after they get done using a lot of these methods. So at this point, just know that it is extremely important, especially as we age and we lose some flexibility with age and we lose some mobility with age, that it is really, really important. I want to talk just a little bit about the fat loss mentality. And it's so important to have a positive attitude in the fat loss process. But it's also important to understand a few things about it so you don't get really, really frustrated. Number one is it's going to take some time. And you can see there that I put in bold, Rome wasn't built in a day, and substantial fat loss is not achieved in a week or 2 or 3 weeks. But once we start adding those good weeks up, it really starts to snowball and you see some really good results. We had a lady last time that didn't lose a pound for the first 3 weeks, and she was really, really, really frustrated. But she trusted me and she trusted the system, and she ended up losing 12 pounds in 9 weeks and lost a decent amount of body fat and inches off her waist and hips. And she's one of our biggest advocates now, because she saw how at first it wasn't working like she thought maybe it should, but it did end up working because she just kept adding good weeks on top of good weeks, and eventually she broke through and started to lose a substantial amount of fat. So stay with it. Understand that there will be days that suck. And that's just that's the fat loss process. There'll be days when you don't want to eat any more vegetables. There'll be days when you don't want to go work out. There'll be days when you want to go get a triple Whataburger. Those are the days that'll put you over the top when you do the right thing. If you do the right thing on those tough days, The easy days are no problem. Everybody can do that. If you do the right thing on those tough days, those are the days that are really going to be important in your process and you reaching your goals. Number 3 there, tell everyone. I would tell everybody I knew. The more people that know, the harder it is to give up. So tell everybody. Live like nobody else. And we kind of have to understand that in the process of fat loss, being lean is not normal. It's really not. And so we have to understand that we kind of have to live like nobody else. And I'm not talking about living in a cave and eating chicken breast and broccoli for the rest of your life, but we kind of have to do some things that normal people don't do. And so that quote there is my favorite, really, of any quote, but it says being lean is not normal in today's society. This means you need to do things that normal people don't do. You need to pack your own lunch. You need to request food be prepared differently than what's listed on most menus. Your idea of fast food should be a protein shake, and you can't take the weekend off from your diet like you do your job. And that really, at the root of it all, is the truth. I mean, that truer words were never spoken when it comes to fat loss. But I really want you to understand that you will be successful as long as you keep pressing forward and you keep nailing down your diet. There's going to be days that aren't great. There's going to be days where you get really frustrated. Just keep pushing through and you will see results. Mentality is so huge in the fat loss process. So, action steps for you. Number 1, overhaul your pantry, overhaul your refrigerator. Anything that's tempting to you, get rid of it. And I get a question a lot, well, what about my kids? What about my husband? I guess if your husband or your wife is really upset about it, you might have to work that out, but it's okay for them to eat healthy too. You know, we don't really make it a huge point for my son to eat healthy, but he kind of does it by default because we don't really have much trashy food in the house. So overhaul your pantry and your refrigerator would be the first step. Take a trip to the grocery store, look at your food list and your nutrition manual, buy lots of lean proteins, healthy fats, vegetables, those kinds of things. Prepare your food, we talked about that. Make sure that it's all done. If you're running 5 minutes behind early in the morning, you're not going to take the time to measure out chicken breast and chop it up. You and I both know that neither one of us is going to do that if we're running behind, so prepare your food. Tell everybody, we talked about that, and just get your mind right. We talked about mentality. You will succeed 90% and 90%. Barring some sort of weird hormonal issue, you will succeed with 90% and 90%. We will get you there. You just have to commit to those two 90% and we'll do it. You know, and beyond that, just win the day. Each day, just do the best you can to follow the diet and get to your workouts. Don't worry about a week down the line, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever the case is. Just win the day. You know, my college coach always used to talk about the next play. Worry about the next play and that's it. If you worry about just today and making sure that you eat clean today and make your workout today, everything will take care of itself. So needless to say, I'm extremely excited. I can't wait to meet all of you. Make sure that you fill out the forms at the end of your manual there. All the forms that you're supposed to fill out. I think there's like 6 or 7 pages at the end there. Just take them, staple them together, and bring them with you to your assessment. And the last page of those forms is an assessment form that I need when I do your assessment. So appreciate your time. I can't wait to meet y'all. I will see you at your assessment or Saturday morning.